Okay, this is a concept design, first concept for the pocket park for Great Falls. The idea here is essentially remove everything that's here, all the old pavers, all the overgrown plant material, and starting with designing the new pavers, creating a serpentine path throughout the whole space to encourage foot traffic. This typically, we prefer a gray paver with a soldier row of darker gray pavers for a really unique and interesting look here. So that would be the main structure to begin. We have benches, 1, 2, 3, 4. These benches will essentially be installed just outside the paver path, so they can be walked up to and used, but the benches themselves will sit in the planting beds, which is all the outside area here, so they can be surrounded with plant material. These could be typical park benches, they could be heavier stone benches, so there are options there. This area here, this is the big boulder with the plaque. A lot of different plant material here, blooming plant material, low ground covers with a lot of different texture and color in this area. And using some structure, you'll see the circles all on the outside. These are essentially the anchor plants, to where those are the larger plants that will create the structure, but then that leaves us open spaces to come through and install perennials, blooming plants, ground covers for hummingbirds, bees, and the like. Essentially a pollinator garden in several different areas for all the hummingbirds and butterflies. So these open areas will mimic the way that this little bed here is. It'll use similar materials, filling this space. Each area will be different, but use similar materials. The larger anchor plants like to use some dwarf evergreens, possibly redbud, possibly dogwood, but individual plants that work well as specimen plants. And then you'll see the groups of shrubs here, smaller shrubs that kind of surround the benches for kind of an enclosure behind the benches. And that's kind of the concept there. So we will fill densely planted areas here. A lot of plant material, a lot of texture, a lot of color. So here we have sod. I would prefer sod, living, actual green grass. Another option is synthetic turf, something we might consider there. So pavers, synthetic turf, or sod. These are all plant beds that will be loaded with plant material. And the next phase, after all the plant material is addressed, all the hardscape is addressed, let me take a couple steps back. We have the wall here. Ray mentioned that there was going to be a wall dividing the space between the walkway here and the building. Would love to do some creeping fig along this wall, so it'll slowly creep up the wall. We have the post right here, the light post. Like to do some climbing vines on this, like a clematis, blooming clematis. A couple anchor plants here in the front, some tall Italian cypress, very narrow upright evergreen to show that this is the entrance to the park, draw people in. That is the concept there. Again, moving forward, once all this is installed, we would like to come in and do a lighting project, uplighting the anchor plants. Possibly additional plants along, additional fixtures along the wall, uplighting and and this will create a lot of drama for the nighttime landscape. So another thing about the way we're designing here is the plants are going to be planted densely enough to where there's not going to be any need for continually remulching the area. It will be designed as to where all the plants are going to fill in within one season and require very little maintenance for the future in regards to remulching. A lot of different options can be explored here, but we think this is a really good start. In regards to a concept, all this can be dialed down depending on personal preference and what makes the most sense for all parties involved. But I think that kind of sums up what we've done here. Happy to make any changes and work with all parties involved to get it to where it needs to be. It could be a really, really beautiful area.